Was good gamers, gamettes, and game pogs. That's what we call non-binary people here. So we're doing the Phantom Thief tier list. Well, you're having two separate tier lists for this. How much we like them in terms of story, and how much they are useful to the party in terms of actual gameplay. I think this should be a lot of fun. And of course, today, as always, for all my anime stuff, I'm being joined by my good friend Plasma Energized.
Hello.
Yes, very gaming indeed.
Exactly.
I'll increase your volume a tiny bit.
Okay.
There we go. That should be enough. It should be perfectly balanced as all things should be.
Of course.
So I guess the first thing to start with then is the man, the myth, the Joker. But where's the Batman?
The trickster himself.
Indeed. I mean, I guess in terms of gameplay, we should just put him in S tier.
I mean, the Joker is he can literally use every persona. I mean, there's only about maybe 5-ish moves, if that he can't use, and the ones that he can't use, he probably has better versions of anyway.
Yeah.
He can literally do everything. He can heal better than everyone with if you have the DLC in Royal with Orpheus or one of the max confident personas, you can do damage with Sassanile or Izanagi, busted as always. You can I think with a full party, there's nothing that if there's something you're struggling with, that you can't think of. If you have something that you're struggling with Joker, that Joker just cannot handle at all with your full party, you're doing something wrong, because he's so versatile that it's impossible for Joker to be bad unless you're intentionally making it so.
Exactly. I play the game more casually because the game is easy enough to where I'm allowed to play the game more casually. But even on like my sort of casual scrub playthroughs, Joker still is by far my most useful party member.
Yeah.
And I hardly messed around with fusion either. But just like the basic fusions that I did get, Joker was still by far and away the best party member.
Yeah, and you can make him even more busted with fusion. Obviously, you can, if you have your confidence high enough, you can have fucking level, like, I remember I had like a level 60 persona in like the third palace. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, because
with stupid moves.
The strength confidant is completely broken.
Colossal damage in the third palace is fucking busted no matter which way you look at it. So Joker's S tier for sure. He doesn't belong anywhere else.
And when it comes to the story tier list, I actually would also argue that Joker is S tier.
I'd agree with you on that one.
Yeah, because like, here's the thing, because silent protagonists in video games tend to be boring. Joker, in my opinion, is the best silent protagonist ever written. Like,
for sure.
Easily, very easily. Because, like, we'll just compare him to the other Persona protagonists. I'm not saying this to diss the other Persona protagonists. They do their job just fine. They have pretty fire designs. But Joker is significantly better written than both of them. And the reason why is because the other Persona protagonists are purely blank slates. They don't exactly have motivations. The story they don't necessarily have motivation, so it's the story's responsibility to drive the plot forward. Joker is one of the only silent protagonists I've ever seen where he's the one who drives the plot forward, because his false assault charge is the reason why the plot starts. And in order for that to make sense, you have to characterize Joker as someone very rebellious, someone who sticks to his own beliefs and principles. You can't just make him the passive protagonist that these characters tend to be.
Yeah, I think the great thing about Joker is that while he is a silent protagonist, he does have his firm beliefs that he doesn't let anyone convince him otherwise, that his beliefs are wrong or anything. So he is silent, sure, but he manages to not be boring because he has his own character. He still has his own character, which drives the plot forward. and he's never shaken by anything, which just makes Joker an incredible protagonist.
Yeah, and it's also because of that too. And like, we're not discussing confidants in this tier list. However, Joker isn't a confidant, so I think we can explain the fact that some of his confidant responses are fucking hilarious and are super in character. Like, beep boop, I'm a dad, shit like that. Fucking sends me
Also,
every time.
Button mashing Morgana will never be tops.
Exactly.
on
Fucking
that
hell.
train.
The only reason why I want to watch P5A is because is so I can hear Joker like actually say these lines aloud.
Honestly, it's so fun. I've seen some clips of the animation. He's fucking hilarious in it.
Absolutely. Like, Xander Mobus will be the whole reason why I watch P5A.
Yeah.
So I guess next up, we kind of went in the direction of party member of a gameplay discussion first. So I guess we can go for Morgana next. I know we talked about this on Discord, and we have some minor disagreements. Both of us agree he's really good, though.
I put him in A tier.
I would also put him in A tier.
Because I don't think anyone can really go in S tier when Joker's there, to be honest. It's going to be hard to put anyone else in S tier now.
I honestly feel like there are a few candidates for who you can
maybe
put in A tier, in S tier.
Morgana is great because, I mean, a massive thing with healing stuff is you don't want your healer to be completely passive and only healing, because obviously your party isn't injured 100% of the time. But Morgana rectifies that by having Miracle Punch, which is very, very good for being able to use Morgana not just for healing. Even though he don't have to do incredible amounts of damage, the critical hit is more than enough. So Morgana ends up being very helpful because you have that critical hit to, like, if you're backed in a corner, you can rely on that critical hit. But still also be able to heal, revive, stuff like that if you don't have items. I think the only weakness I'd say Morgana has is Morgana runs through his SP very quickly. So if it's not very high, then you're gonna end up, by the end of a boss battle, you might be conserving your SP a lot, not being able to heal as much as you want, because his healing moves do take a lot of SP. And I mean, if you wanna use wind attacks, that's even more SP, which some of the other party members don't necessarily have to deal with as much as Morgana, because I mean, healing is his entire thing. So
but healing is extremely broken, so
yeah, healing is very broken, so it's hard to argue him being, he's definitely B tier at least, in my opinion. I put him in A because he does have other things going for him other than just healing. But yeah,
and like I agree with a lot of your points. However, I also disagree with some of them. Another one of Morgana's big weaknesses is the fact that he dies quickly. He gets one shot way more easily.
That is true. I was gonna bring that up. He does die very quick, which is annoying.
Because like the whole thing with Morgana is he's the one character who can revive without items. He's often the character that you need to revive more than anyone else.
Yeah, that's the annoying thing. It's kind of like
that the fact that he's the only party member with revival skills doesn't come up as often as you'd think it would.
Yeah. Because I mean, it is. I think Morgana can be good. In certain situations, Morgana is really, really shit. But in certain situations, Morgana is really, really good. If Morgana doesn't get targeted every turn, or get hit with like a massive attack, then Morgana is really, really good. And honestly, yes, it does die very quickly, but it does absorb that hit for someone like Joker, where if Joker dies, you're literally dead. You have to restart.
I mean, it's better than Joker getting one shot, so.
Yeah. And Morgana can help Joker avoid dying through that healing. So while the revival isn't completely busted because Morgana is very frail, I think the healing alone is enough to put it quite high. the reviving can be a nice last ditch type of thing where it can come in helpful very occasionally. But yeah, Miracle Punch is also, as I said, really good. Like obviously ailments are fucking busted in Persona 5, but I think having the Miracle Punch is very, very consistent. I mean, it definitely crits a lot more than it doesn't. Obviously, it doesn't crit 100% of the time, but it does crit a lot.
Yeah, I will say one thing. Another thing is that I feel like Morgana is mostly good in the early to mid game. And the reason why is because he has his Persona trait makes his healing better. So before you get like Meteorom, I believe those are the ones that heal you to max.
Yeah, I think it is.
Because I mean, with Persona, he's basically healing you to full anyway because of that Persona trait. However, when Makoto gets these skills, I feel like Makoto kind of outclasses Morgana, since Makoto's bulkier, Makoto's stronger. Makoto in general is one of the best party members in the game, but I don't feel like Makoto is really allowed to shine until the late game, since, Morgana's a better healer in the early to mid game.
Yeah, I think Morgana, we might as well rank Makoto now, since we're talking about her.
Sure.
Where would you put her? A?
I'd also say A.
I'd say A, yeah.
Because she's mostly a late game character, but...
Yeah. I think... I think... For me, I end up undervaluing damage a lot because Joker ends up being so much stronger, a lot stronger than the party members if you play him right. So, like for me now, since I'm obviously I think I need to differentiate between a regular playthrough and me trying to max everything out. When you max everything out, damage doesn't really become a factor. It ends up being who can support Joker the best. Yeah. Because Joker does so much damage. But in a regular playthrough, if you're not being stupid like me, Makoto is very good for damage, very good bulk, can raise your team's defense as well, including Joker's, and your entire team for 3 turns is always going to be very good because obviously you have to survive, and obviously she doesn't have as good healing as Morgana. But it is kind of offset by having the defense boosting, meaning that you will take less damage overall with that defense boost. I think Morgana reduces evasiveness and accuracy for the opponent, which is okay, but it is very luck reliant. So I think Makoto is definitely better in that regard. But yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like Makoto as a jack of all trades fares better in the late game.
I'd say you could put Makoto above Morgana if we're ordering within tiers.
They both run through SP quickly though, so you're often gonna be running both of them. If you don't want to burn all of your SP restoring items. Especially
because in the late game, if you just run 2 of your attacks, so single target and then multi-target, then attacking with Makoto ends up costing so much SP.
I ended up realizing that in Maruki's Palace, and I'm like, oh my god, she's running out of SP extremely fast.
Because I think her group target damage is like, I think it's like 36 SP or something, or 48, something like that. It's something, actually, I think it's 24, which in the long run is a ton. Like it does run out very quickly. And because apart from I think Futaba and items, it's impossible to restore your SP unless you're Joker. It does come into account a lot how much SP you run through, and it does get very annoying.
One thing we could consider later on is adding like an S+ tier for Joker, because he's just that much above everyone.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
I'll consider that for later though.
Yeah, we'll see if we want to put anyone else in S.
Yeah. In terms of story though, in my first playthrough, I fucking hated Morgana. Because my first playthrough was on vanilla Persona 5, and on vanilla Persona 5 during story events, Morgana would tell you, "Oh, you should go to sleep, Joker." I hated that shit, because like restricting the player from being able to do shit. Thankfully, Royal fixed that issue, and that issue getting fixed alone made Morgana a significantly more likable character. So now the only real issue I have with Morgana is the fact that the Okumura stuff was really poorly executed, but otherwise his arc is fine.
His arc is fine, yeah. I think it's kind of like a... Obviously, everyone knows that Morgana pisses everyone off during Okumura arc. It is annoying, because it was very unnecessary.
Yeah, like in the main
there was very little reason for that to be the way to introduce Haru as a character.
Yeah, Haru just
they could have done a lot of. Yeah, they could have. She got shafted in the middle of like the worst baby fight we've ever seen in fucking history of games. Apart from the Okumura, I do like Morgana's story of not knowing where he's from, what he is, and then finding that out at the end of the game, being from the Velvet Room. So I think I don't know where I'd place it.
Thematically speaking, the reason why Morgana's arc works is because it shows that in order to belong to the Phantom Thieves, you don't need to have some tragic backstory. You don't need to have been a victim of abuse. Just as long as you are supportive of other people, as long as you contribute and are able to form an actual connection with them, then you'll be just as much a part of the family as everyone else. Because Morgana's arc is centered around him not feeling like he fits in, it's because he doesn't feel like he fits in. That's the reason why when he gets outclassed, he gets really butthurt about it.
I think Morgana proves that you don't necessarily have to be the best at something in order to stand out in the group. Because, I mean, Morgana did get outclassed by Futaba in terms of navigation, which obviously pissed him off a lot and had him questioning what does he bring to the group, when he does bring things to the group, definitely.
Yeah,
we see that.
We put him in A tier.
we literally put him in A tier, which is proof enough he does bring something to the team. Even if it might not necessarily be as obvious and like a defined role that they gave him, he still does bring a lot. I mean, he's the one who showed everyone he showed Joker how to be a Phantom Thief, really. And that's how the entire group started. And he does help quite a lot by being a cat. I mean, there's a lot of things he's been able to do to help the Phantom Thieves by just being a cat, really.
Yeah. And he's like, "I'm not a cat, guys."
I'm not a cat, guys.
And then it takes till fucking Maruki's palace for him to go, "Yeah, maybe I'm a cat."
It only took him trying to sleep with Joker for him to realize that maybe he's a cat.
I wish they put that scene in more detail. I would have loved to see that.
By the way, Morgana looks fucking creepy as a human.
Yeah, it's very uncanny.
His eyes look so like strange.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. In terms of where I would place Morgana, normally I would say like B tier, but the standards for Persona 5 are so high that I feel like he's
honestly, yeah. I was thinking B, but yeah, C. Considering we have all these characters to go through, I think C is justified.
And despite the fact that his arc is pretty good, I mean, it's nothing amazing, but it's good. The fact that the Okumura Palace is what people remember Morgana most for, I don't think it can be in B tier, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, B is like a very good character, but when Morgana does have that one fatal flaw being Okumura's palace, you can't really put him in like the top half, really.
Yeah, should we explain why the Okumura Palace is bad, or should we just assume that everyone already knows?
I mean, I guess we can very briefly summarize Morgana is a baby. He broke the Phantom Thieves' #1 rule, and
Tried
he's
to
a
run
baby.
them over.
Yeah,
Just like Morgana
too.
does a lot of like really spiteful, hateful, out of character bullshit that makes him
Yeah.
significantly less likable. So by the time that his arc is finished in Okumura's palace, you're wondering, why aren't they dedicating this shit to Haru, the character that we actually kind of care about?
Yeah. Morgana ended up stealing the show from Haru, which led everyone to think Haru's a very forgettable character, stuff like that.
Which in the main story, I actually don't think Haru's that good, although her confidant's amazing.
So I think we'll talk about that later, but
Yeah.
I think the thing with Morgana is Morgana ends up stealing the show from Haru, which really puts you off. And throughout the entire thing, normally if you have the rest of the story, excluding the Okumura arc, is meant to make you think, oh, I really like this character. But instead, because of the Okumura arc, you end up saying, oh, this person isn't a complete piece of shit. That's why I think he deserves C tier, not anything higher. Because instead of going, I really like this character after everything that goes on, it's, oh, he's not an absolute dumbass.
Yeah. The fact that Okumura's palace can completely change how people view Morgana anyway. It's definitely a little sad because I don't think Morgana's a bad character.
I don't think Morgana's bad. It just had one bad plot point, but
and that's enough to drop you in C tier in a game where the characters are as goated as they are in Persona 5.
Yeah, agree.
And then when it comes to gameplay tier list, Ryuji's busted.
Are we gonna skip over Makoto or?
We'll do Makoto's story.
Okay. Alright. In game, Ryuji's busted fuck.
Yeah, I mean, like, extremely reliable critical hits, incredibly high amounts of damage, just like very strong.
He increases your party's attack as well.
Oh my god.
For 3 turns. That's his
very good
move.
support for Joker as well.
So yeah, he's very good. I mean, if you roll with items, you can have Ryuji. I had Ryuji with the Shido item, which allows a teammate to hit for over double damage with the next physical attack. He can put down himself as well, I'm pretty sure. So he can deal a shit ton amount of damage and also cause Joker to deal a shit ton amount of damage. Especially if you're in like New Game Plus and you have like Yoshitsune and you buff him with Ryuji, attack boost, stuff like that. Ryuji is very good. And the thing is, he's got that attack boost while also being fucking incredibly incredible at attack himself. Obviously, he hits like a truck. I swear to God, that guy, when he swings his like bat, it does a lot more damage than it should.
Yeah. Like, I think that Ryuji is an A tier.
I agree.
How high would we put him?
I think the attack boost is very good. That's what I'm trying to think.
Yeah, but healing is also so broken that I'm not necessarily...
Yeah, I think Ryuji belongs at the bottom of A tier. Which isn't to affect him really. He's very good in his own right. Like, he does fucking bits.
I honestly don't think there's any... I really don't think there is quite any other A tiers after that, though. Maybe Kasumi, but...
We'll see.
We'll get to it later.
Yeah.
But in terms of story, I'm very biased. Ryuji's my personal favorite Persona 5 character, but what are you thinking?
Fair enough. I love Ryuji. Ryuji's such a bro, man. I love that man.
S tier, baby.
I'd put him in S tier, yeah.
Yeah. Ryuji's one of my favorite characters ever.
Yeah, I mean, he's very... I mean, it's very blatant. They make it very obvious that he is incredibly misunderstood by people around him. I mean, they literally do it with Kawakami calling him trouble immediately after she sees you with him. And sure, yeah, they did skip school on the first day, so it doesn't really help.
Yeah.
But I think Ryuji, he overcomes every. He's been throwing a lot of shit at him,
Yeah.
and you can tell, and it's apparent throughout the entire game that Ryuji does heavily believe in justice. I mean, it's what caused him to not be able to run anymore. He tried to stand up to Kamoshida, and he paid the price for it. But he still didn't back down, and still wanted to. And he was the big, he was the person who kept advocating. Oh, with the Phantom Thieves, yeah, he did get a big bit. He got a big bit. He got big for his boots, but in reality, he really does want to help people, and you can very much see it throughout the entire story.
Yeah.
And he does have flaws, but at the same time, he's a kid. He has flaws. He's still a teenager. You can't expect him to be perfect.
Yeah, like when it comes to that commitment toward justice too, that it results in one of Ryuji's biggest strengths and one of his biggest flaws. The strength being that he's extremely loyal to the principles of the Phantom Thieves, and he doesn't like betraying those. The other one being that he is extremely emotional and gets pissed off very easily.
Oh yeah, we know.
Which causes him to both be one of the most useful in terms of like story, one of the most useful party members in the story, and also makes him the one that like starts shit the most often as well.
Yeah. Also, Ryuji became like the group punching bag for some reason.
And I mean,
I don't know where it started, but he did.
I mean, when you play Persona 4, you'll be thankful that Ryuji was not punched on nearly as hard as Yosuke is in that game.
I mean, that man almost died in Shido's palace, and he got beat up for it.
Yeah, he was all out attacked by all the women for no reason.
He literally got fucking, he got stepped on.
Exactly, and like
for just
if
trying
Ryuji's
to help
into that,
out.
fine, but.
And I love how this man, he's so. When that happened, he comes. So everyone's like crying over Ryuji. He's like, "Yo guys, how you doing? We made it!" And then they're like, "What the hell, man?"
It's just like, oh my god, what a horrible scene. Because like I think the intention was for it to be funny, but it's not funny because I actually give a shit about Ryuji.
I actually was looking at this. Apparently, it's very much Japan humor. Apparently, Japan voted it the funniest scene in the entire game, or something like that. Yeah, it's very Japan humor.
Granted, the Persona delinquent characters like Ryuji and Kanji are generally not as popular in Japan as they are in the West.
Fair enough. I mean, I think Ryuji's the goat, man.
Yeah, Ryuji.
He's amazing.
Because I wasn't able to talk about why I love Ryuji so much, and for me, it's because of just all the stuff that he went through. You can tell that he's just a genuinely great guy. He wants this stuff some of this stuff is explained in his Confidant, but it also affects the main story too. So I may as well explain it here. Like he wanted to get into track not just because it's something he loved, but also because he wanted to support his single mother. Since he had a troubled home life, only has that one parent. His dad, before he left the family, would beat him and all that shit. So he wanted to be there to help. However, since he has such a strong sense of justice, he would see all the things that Kamoshida would do to abuse him, and he couldn't stand it. He wanted to actually do something against Kamoshida, but because Kamoshida has more power than him, Kamoshida basically did everything he could to steal away Ryuji's future, to turn him into a deadbeat. And everyone else treats Ryuji like he's the villain for this. Because everyone either doesn't know about Kamoshida or is letting it all slide under the rug. So Ryuji gets thrown under the bus for the entire game. It's something that I mean, it's easy for me to relate to, not only because of some of my work experience, but also just because of some of my school experience, having been ostracized or being, the fucking weeb.
Yeah.
And it's why Ryuji's awakening scene is my favorite awakening scene in the entire game.
Oh, for sure.
It's such a climatic, powerful moment. And sure, in the main story, Ryuji peaks at the beginning. He's never quite as good afterward, especially since he kind of gets that punching bag role. That feels.
Yeah, he ends up getting the like gag character.
It feels like a Flanderization of Ryuji by the end of the game, as opposed to what Ryuji actually is it is in the beginning of the game. You could justify him being A tier for that reason, the fact that the game forgets what makes Ryuji work later on. But I think that what he adds to Kamoshida's arc, it does such a good job at setting the stage for what Persona 5 is, and the types of characters are going to grow to love in Persona 5 that I feel like it deserves S tier. Again, I'm biased as fuck. Ryuji is my personal favorite Persona 5 character.
Yeah, I think him being at the start of the game is very important because he's the first Phantom Thief we really meet. So he kind of has the job of showing what the Phantom Thieves are like, gripping you in, wanting you to keep finding out about like the story, keep going through. And Ryuji's character is, I mean, he's Joker's best friend, really. He's always been Joker's best friend. So he has a very important role to fill, and he does it amazingly at the beginning of the story. And while he does peak at the beginning of the story, it's not like he's bad towards the middle and the end. He's just not as good as he was in the beginning.
Yeah.
Not like Morgana was bad in Okumura. Ryuji is just fine.
And hell, even one thing that Ryuji does a great job is like stuff like the Hawaii stuff. Ryuji's characterized really well. He really does just come across as Joker's best friend.
Yeah.
And
I mean, the beach scene was fucking hilarious.
And like one thing that I can say too is that one of the bigger flaws of Persona 5 is the fact that the Phantom Thieves themselves, outside of like the relationships of Joker, they don't feel very well fleshed out. As like a friend group. However, like you really sense that like the fact that like Ryuji and Yusuke are like close friends, which I really like.
Yeah. And I think that it's similar with, I think apart from Joker, Ryuji does kind of, I guess, synergize the best with the rest of the Phantom Thieves. I feel like he feels like, I think you get kind of the same thing with On and Ryuji. You can tell they're very good friends.
Yeah, and like Ryuji and Makoto even have some fun chemistry.
I mean, they have their all-out attack, their fucking Showtime. Yeah, that's what it is.
The Showtimes are some of the best one of the best features in Royal, by the way. It completely destroys the difficulty of the game, but it does such a good job at characterizing the characters.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
but yeah, I think Ryuji's S tier. No matter what, he is S tier. Fucking love Ryuji.
Like, objectively speaking, I'm not going to put him above Joker, though, since Joker is amazing throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go party members now. I feel like On is the best magic damage dealer, and the fact that she can status is extremely strong. However, I found myself using her very rarely, because
same.
The game is so easy to where you don't really have a reason to run her too often, despite the fact that her skills are genuinely really good.
Yeah, I think the problem is Joker is so versatile that yes, she does great magic damage, but Joker can also do that. So if you end up having someone that does strong fire type damage as one of your personas, you end up not having as much reason to run On because her damage is her main thing. Like, yes, she does have good support, but she is mainly damage whether you like it or not. She's mainly damage, so if you end up having Joker who can just do that without taking up a party member slot, then you end up not really wanting to run On, and you want to end up running someone else.
Yeah. Because
So
I think Joker outclasses On in terms of like damage.
Yeah.
Which means that On is mainly useful for status ailments, and yet everyone can ailment because gun customization is a thing. Gun customization is so broken, by the way.
It is. It's so busted.
Guns used to be shit in vanilla, by the way. You could only all their ammo lasted throughout the entire palace. Your ammo.
Same arms. That's crazy.
Yeah. Your ammo reloads after every battle in Royal, which makes guns extremely broken. And I feel like Anna's kind of outclassed as a result. Not to say Anna's bad though, but she is the party member that I use the least in my playthrough.
Yeah, fair enough. Also, I forgot to add to Ryuji from before. I think Ryuji's big weakness is his gun. It's kind of shit.
Yeah, the fact that
It's only got 3 ammo. It's only got 3 ammo. It's not very accurate. If you miss one of those shots, you sacrifice a third of your damage, and you get less chance for ailments. So,
yeah.
Anyway, back to On.
I honestly don't really feel like there is a D tier in either of these.
No, there's no D tier in either of them.
I would say she's a C tier though.
Yeah, I think each party member, because the thing is, each party member does bring something. You can't say a party member is really useless. So it's important, and a character, you can't really say a character is bad. Mm-hmm. So I think a D tier shouldn't exist.
Yeah. But I feel like this is a hot take too. I remember watching a video from someone who seemed to know his shit. What I was saying that Anna's quite good, but I don't know, for like my more slightly more casual perspective from gameplay, I feel like she's less useful than everyone else. Still good though, of course. The main thing that makes On good, in my opinion, is the ailments. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, I think because for me, I think I look at each character, and most characters, they have that one really good thing that they're good at that sets them apart from everyone else. That they prove why they are a viable option for your party. Like Morgana healing, Ryuji's pure damage. I think On, her damage isn't good enough considering how hard it is to recover that SP. Mm-hmm. So when you end up exhausting your SP so quickly that you end up just want to swap her out. So if you're trying to clear a palace, On is kind of shit because she runs out of SP so quickly.
Yeah, I'd say
in a boss battle, she's okay, but at the same time, in boss battles, the elements a lot of the time don't end up working.
Yeah.
So her big thing apart from her damage is just kind of useless.
I will say though, Anna's quite useful in Kamoshida and Madarame's palace until she falls off.
For sure, in the early game, she does pull her weight, but I think as more party members get introduced, she ends up being a bit outclassed. Especially because, I mean, there are a lot of fire type personas that can use fire damage. So it's not that hard to find something that can replace On. I mean,
yeah. So I guess then we can talk about On in the story. I know there are a lot of people who love On. I've always just liked On. She's a good character.
Same.
But
I agree with you on that.
I've never been super enthusiastic with her. Part of me kind of thinks that it would have been like more emotional and more triumphant if like Shiho was in the Phantom Thieves over On.
Hey, do you remember what happened when I first played through Persona 5?
I do not remember.
The first play, I literally, when I first saw Shiho, I said, I have a feeling she's gonna be the best girl in the entire game. 20 minutes later, she jumps off a building.
Yeah. And like, the fact that Shiho doesn't have a confidant is a fucking crime, by the way.
I know! It's so dumb! It's so dumb!
Because, like, there's so much story potential in Shiho's confidant. And On's confidant, we're not in the confidant ranking, but On's confidant is kind of mid, not gonna lie. I wanted to see more Shiho in On's confidant, but it's kind of done, but kind of not really.
I think one thing with On is that I feel like Atlas very much wanted to push on being best girl onto everyone, but in reality, she does have her story is good. Like, yeah, it's not bad. Good. Like, any means, her story is good. It's
her
really good.
Her awakening is really good.
Her awakening's amazing.
Yeah, top tier awakening. Like, I saw an awakening tier list video, and someone put like On's awakening closer to the bottom. And like, what? What the fuck?
No.
Come on! What a asinine take. She may be one of the lesser party members in terms of story, but her awakening is one of the best in the game.
Yeah, for sure. I think An's motivations and what pushed her, which was what happened to Shiho and everything, and I think she does have her moments, but at the same time, sometimes, as I said, it is kind of forced that like, oh, An is best girl. I think it's being pushed too much to where it ends up being that a lot of the time, I'm not gonna lie, she does get some preferential treatment over some of the other characters.
Because like the community kind of voted like Makoto as like what the canon relationship would be, and then Royal came out and Atlas was like, "Hey, Kasumi exists, guys. Ship Joker or Kasumi."
And yeah, I mean, I think she's got her very good moments, but sometimes she's a bit. I think a lot of the time she ends up just kind of being there.
Yeah,
too much.
Because like after
for me.
Kamoshida's palace, while Ryuji is able to stay relevant with like some good comedic scenes, some good characterization with stuff with characters like Yusuke, An's just kind of there. I don't feel like she does anything after Kamoshida's palace.
Yeah.
One thing with An too is that like since what pushed her to her big moment, her awakening, was to do with Shiho more than herself. Of course, the threat was that she would have been essayed instead, but which I mean, very very strong moment, but I don't feel like it's nearly as strong as it could have been, I guess, compared to the other characters. Do I sound like an asshole for saying that? I probably do.
I mean, the thing is, I think one of her weaknesses as a character is, I think she has her modeling stuff, but the other half is very reliant on what happened with Shiho, and obviously that makes sense.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
stuff is really well done.
We don't see Shiho afterwards, after what happened, really.
We only see her in her rank 10 confidant, that's it.
Yeah, we don't really see her, so it's kind of hard to... obviously, she says what happens, but because you don't see it for yourself, I don't feel as invested to that side of the story if I don't see the other side, which is what happens with Shiho, what happens with her and Shiho afterwards, apart from the rank 10 confidant.
I don't think the modeling stuff is particularly interesting too, since An herself says that it's more of a hobby to her. And of course, her confidence about it becoming more of a passion, but because of how she feels about the modeling, it was hard for me to get invested in her confidant.
Yeah.
I would say that as a part that like main story though, she's a B tier. I do like An quite a lot. Again, that awakening, fucking one of the best in the entire game.
For sure.
So, I mean, I feel like that alone carries her into being quite a good character. I really do like An. It's just, compared to other Persona 5 characters, a game with one of the most goated casts of all time, An feels overshadowed.
It's so hard to keep up, yeah, it's so hard.
I guess, and then next up is Yusuke as a party member. Yusuke is definitely better in Royal than he was in Vanilla. But I mean, Ryuji exists, and Ryuji is pretty definitively the better physical attacker.
I think Yusuke tries to do the good physical attacker, but can also hit magic. But he ends up not being good enough at one, to where you want to see it as like compressing roles of physical and magic, but it ends up not being good enough. So he ends up, like, when I was thinking each character has their own defining thing, the two characters I was thinking about that don't really have that were An and Yusuke. I think Yusuke as a party member is C tier because he can hit hard, he can, and he does stuff, but I think his thing was raising evasiveness.
Yeah, which is not
for your party
super
members.
reliable.
I have to say, I didn't think about An's too much, which was lowering attack for enemies, which is good. I think lowering stats will also always not be as good as raising your own, but it's good, and I think the evasiveness and accuracy is okay. The accuracy is nice, but the evasiveness ends up being just kind of like a bonus thing. so his buff doesn't end up being as good as some of the other party members. So he's kind of like a master of none. He tries to do. He's a jack of all trades, master of none, but not like Makoto, because he's not amazing. He doesn't hit hard enough. He doesn't support well enough, type thing.
I very much agree with all that. And then I actually have nothing to add in terms of Yusuke as a party member. Yusuke's trait, I believe, boosts physical skills, which makes it so that instead of being purely outclassed by Ryuji, he can be a decent partner to Ryuji. At the same time, though, I just feel like overlapping in roles is not amazing. I used Yusuke a decent amount because I'm a more casual player. Big physical damage go burr makes me go very hard. But if you're trying to min-max the game, Yusuke's not good.
I'm looking at it now. I think it says... Here it's saying chances of evading physical attack high.
Okay, so that's what
it's raising chances to evade physical attacks.
Okay, that trait's kind of
I'm not gonna lie, it's mid.
Yeah.
I think Ryuji's the one who can buff your physical attacks.
Yeah, so Ryuji is just like ridiculously strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. Yusuke is sadly mid. Again, though, I like physical attack, so I did end up using Yusuke despite the fact that I kind of knew he was one of the most overwhelming.
He's got reasons to use him sometimes, but
I actually say he's worse than On even.
Oh, I agree because On has the ailments at least, which can be very good. Yusuke is just outclassed,
and On is a lot better in the early game than Yusuke is.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because as well, considering when you get Yusuke, that's when he's your 5th party member. So that's when it starts being, you don't have to use all your party members to the best of their advantage. So you can literally just box him if you want to.
In terms of main story, though, I fucking love Yusuke.
I love Yusuke. Oh my god, I love this guy.
Same. I'm split between like A, S tier. So I'll put him wherever you want.
I put him in A.
All right.
I think Yusuke, I have to, story aside, Yusuke is the definition of unintentionally funny.
Oh, for sure. He has the best comedic moments in the entire game, which is funny given how...
For sure.
Ryuji is supposed to be the comic relief, and yet Yusuke is the funniest character.
That guy's such a goof.
Absolutely.
Sometimes. Like, you get stuck in the middle of one of the most annoying puzzles of the entire game being Shido's rap puzzle. And this guy's cracking rap puns. It was so funny.
By the way, fuck Shido's Palace. That shit's so unfun.
Yeah, it was pretty annoying. It's only good if you memorize it like me, Lemma.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to... Also, can I just say... In my opinion, Yusuke has a top 3 awakening.
Oh, for sure.
His awakening's fucking amazing. Oh my god.
Because like the thing about Yusuke is that he is the one character in this game who is in complete denial of the fact that he's being abused.
Yeah, he like genuinely opposes, like, nothing is wrong with me, leave me alone, I'm going to get a restraining order. And then it all comes to one singular moment where everything he thought in his entire life was a complete lie. He thought Madarame was an amazing person. He raised him. He looked after him so much. It was a complete lie. It was more wrong than he could have been, and it all shows in his awakening where, I mean, he starts bleeding. He scrapes his nails on the ground and he starts bleeding, and it was very powerful.
Yeah.
And his introduction was incredible.
Just such an amazingly written character all along. Just Yusuke is so well handled, so well executed. Because like when he's introduced, he has one of the best awakenings, one of the best build up to the awakenings. The fucking like on nude shit is fucking hilarious.
It was.
Yeah, especially this Morgana's like, "Do not defile milady. I do want to see your news."
That's crazy.
And then
Don't touch what is mine. That's my shit, come on!
I really love Yusuke. Because like again, I feel like the fact that he's in denial about his abuse, it's very realistic, and he's the only character in the game that's able to show off that aspect.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think is very important for a game like Persona 5 to have. And along with that, he's just such a funny character. And like, I'd say he's one of the few characters who like stays consistently enjoyable throughout the rest of the game, even though he doesn't have he doesn't have anything useful to say after Madarame's Palace, unfortunately. But hey, he's at least really funny.
Yeah, I mean, he the fact that he's always broke, but his standards are so high. Like, I would never stay in the dorms. Can I stay in the attic, please? He's like, I can't afford to eat.
Like, I love Yusuke so much. And the thing is that Yusuke also has one of the best confidants in the game, but we'll get to that in the confidant ranking.
Yeah, I mean, Yusuke, he's fucking hilarious. He remains fucking hilarious, and we love him for it.
Absolutely.
Also, his English VA is amazing.
Oh, for sure. The English VAs in this game in general are amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing. But I think the English VA for Yusuke is like it's perfect at representing or showing off what type of person he is.
I remember my well, I was playing the game with my brother, and he was like, he heard his voice and went, "Oh, he's gay." and then the opposite happened and went, "Oh my god, he's not gay! What the fuck? This is the greatest plot twist of all time."
It's so funny because on my second playthrough, I played through in Japanese, and the first thing I thought, he sounds too cool. This isn't Yusuke.
Yeah, because Yusuke's supposed to sound a little doofy.
The English voice is perfect for that, but Japanese is too cool. He sounds too cool. That's not Yusuke. That's not Yusuke, the guy who he's spending his entire life savings on shit from Hawaii when he can't even afford dinner. That's not Yusuke.
Like I haven't played Persona 5 in Japanese yet because I love the dubs so much.
Fair enough.
I almost never watch English dubs anymore too, because subs are generally just better. But Persona 5 is one of the few examples of a dub that just goes so far and away to be just absolute peak.
Yeah, like, they really put a lot of effort into it.
All the VAs are so good. Although my personal favorite is Robbie Damon as Akechi. Holy shit,
we'll get to him in a bit. We'll get to him in a bit.
I guess we can talk about Makoto and the story now, though, since we went over.
Yeah, what do you think about Makoto?
I really like Makoto. Her awakening is hampered quite a lot by the fact that I don't really feel like she has any like super personal beef with Kaneshiro. Although Kaneshiro, in my opinion, is probably the weakest palace ruler in terms of story.
Yeah.
Like Okumura is stronger than him in terms of story.
Yeah.
Which it's unfortunate that Makoto didn't really have an amazing villain to bounce off of. However, her awakening is still really good because what Makoto is rebelling against isn't Kaneshiro's abuse, but not necessarily, but more so just the abuse of like the school system in general and all the adults around her that told her that she had to live life a certain way.
Yeah, and I think I love her persona being like a fucking motorbike and her
that's
having
fucking so cool.
A license. It's so cool. Everyone's like, "What the fuck? Why do you have a motorbike?" And she's like, "I've got a license." And I think it's a perfect. I think Makoto's persona and her awakening is a very good showcase of rebellion because I mean it's completely different to what you'd imagine. You wouldn't we see Makoto for a bit and she doesn't strike as that type of person clearly, and it gets completely flipped on your expectations are completely shattered, and she gets a motorbike and it's fucking sick. It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. and like the thing with Makoto too, she is consistently relevant throughout the rest of the story too, because I mean, Sai gets a palace later on as well, which means that Makoto actually has story relevance since Sai is Makoto's sister.
Yeah, I can't. I'll be real. Yeah, the thing with Persona 5 is so good that when I obviously we had the flashback of Joker getting arrested. And then when we get to Sai's palace, we realize that this is where he's gonna get arrested. The entire time Makoto's acting, I thought Makoto was the traitor, even though Akechi's right there. I thought Makoto. I was questioning everything.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything, because I never see twists coming, even if they're extremely obvious. And yes, the Akechi twist is extremely obvious.
No, because for me, Persona did so... Everything that I thought, I was wrong about. So when I think, come on, it's Akechi, bro. Come on, he's been opposing you the entire time. Suddenly he's on your side. What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense. But then I'm seeing Makoto being very very nervous and stuff, and I'm like, what's this bitch up to? What's she planning? And then obviously it's Akechi. I'm like, I'm an idiot for thinking this.
I feel like a Makoto traitor situation too would hamper so much about her character in general.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad it didn't happen, but
like
she is a great character in the game.
Because like the doubt that Makoto feels in that arc it's so well done.
Yeah, and I think I'm so happy it happened because let's be honest,
Kaneshiro is a boring villain for Makoto. Sai is an amazing villain for Makoto.
It makes complete sense for Makoto to be very stressed about being in Sai's palace. And I think if she had just gone along with it and, oh yes, we love this, woo, it wouldn't make any sort of sense. Yeah. And especially considering, and it shows how much she roots for justice, because remember, this is right after Okuma got put in a pack.
Yeah.
Okuma got put in a pack, next one, her sister, and she still goes along with it.
For sure. Like, despite the risks that come in, especially since Akechi is joining them for that palace.
Yeah, it's... Honestly, I think Makoto is a great character.
Yeah, for sure. I am putting her in A tier, personally.
I agree with you on that.
I don't like her as much as Yusuke, personally, but that's more of, like, a personal bias thing.
Fair enough.
I just love Yusuke.
It's hard not to.
And then in terms of like party members, I feel like Futaba is A tier as well.
Futaba is definitely A tier. I mean, if you think about it, the fact that she doesn't actually take up a party member slot is so invaluable considering how much she brings.
There's honestly a genuine argument for
Futaba S. I was gonna say there's an argument to put her in S because she doesn't. You can use her 100% of the time. She constantly busts you, and you don't have to use a slot for her. So I think she goes in S tier simply because literally no character does what she does, which is providing free buffs at the cost of nothing. She's the only one who, without items, can restore SP. She gives you as in attack, defense, and evasion accuracy buffs all at once.
Yeah.
She heals the party sometimes all the way to max. She's fucking amazing.
She can give you charge and concentrate too at the same slot, which is also completely
she can
fucking
give you
broken.
Charge and concentrate. It's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we should talk about how good charge and concentrate are. Ryuji.
They are busted.
Ryuji is the only party member to naturally learn charge, while Ana's the only one to naturally learn concentrate.
And then I think when you get their third awakening, they can apply it to party member wide.
Yep.
That costs a shit ton of SP, so it's not unless you.
I mean, it doesn't matter with Ryuji because he's not using his SP, but it matters with An though, because An has like no SP.
Exactly.
Which is why I honestly think Ryuji is a better user of these abilities than An is.
Yeah, because I mean, Ryuji can do these so freely because his SP doesn't matter. Because you only hitting with magic attacks if it's a weakness, and when it's a weakness, it doesn't matter how much damage you do because you get your one more, your baton pass, stuff like that.
In general, I think charge is just better than concentrate in this game, unless it's Joker, because Joker has mindfulness.
I think what's it called? charge is better because physical attacks end up doing more damage in general. I think you get like colossal stuff like that. You get the attacks just do more damage, and so charge is really good. I mean, I think I think it's either 2.5 or 3 times damage. Something like that. Let me check. I think it's something around that. That you get from charge and concentrate. So it's very good. It's 2.5 times damage.
Yeah.
Which is very, very, very good because I mean it's just 3 damage. Across you use 1 turn to set up. It's like Manaphy Tailglow. It's literally a Manaphy Tailglow.
Yeah.
You spend 1 turn setting up your charge, and it ends up doing more damage than if you just attack twice, which is really, really good. Even if it only lasts 1 attack, it's still really good.
I guess one of the questions now is, does concentrate make on better? Which, in my opinion, no, not really.
No, because you can put concentrate on Joker's personas. So
Yeah, I mean, Joker is a better concentrate user than On is.
Yeah.
Granted,
Because
Joker is a better at everything than everyone is, but
the problem is, On can't afford to spare that SP. She can't. It runs out too quickly for you to be able to.
And the thing is,
especially
in Royal, Joker can use all the SP he wants because
because
his confidant abilities are broken.
Yeah. That's why that's another reason why Joker's so good, because he doesn't run out of SP really.
Yeah.
So but On can't afford really. I mean, I guess you can say that it's good because I mean the only problem is if you use charge or concentrate and die the next turn, you've just wasted your SP, which is the big problem. Obviously, when you get into the later stages, a concentrate plus an attack is less SP than just using the attack twice. But considering you have to take the risk of maybe dying and wasting that SP that On just cannot do, I think On should stay in Sita.
Yeah. And then next up is Futaba in terms of her story usage. I fucking love Futaba's arc.
I mean, she is the only character with a palace.
Yeah. Like her palace too, it feels like you're going through a Persona 4 palace.
I'm gonna be completely real. This palace pissed me off. The puzzles were annoying.
I thought the puzzles were
with
fine.
the fucking green gems, they were annoying. The first time, it annoyed me because I didn't get it. But that's just because I'm stupid, so...
It is.
That's not really the game's fault.
The only palace, I think the only palace that annoyed me puzzle-wise was Shido. That was the only one I had to look up.
Okuma's, the tunnel,
the tunnel thing, fuck that thing. Yeah, I had to look that up too.
Yeah. Yeah, they were annoying. Anyway, moving on from that.
Like, in terms of main story, though, I love shut-in stories. Like, getting out of your shell. Being able to get back into society. Futaba is such a well-executed addition to that trope. And, like, yeah, it's obviously not welcome to the NHK, but it's still really well-executed. And the fact... And just, like, what I like so much is, like, all the preparation that the Phantom Thieves have to do in order to steal Futaba's heart, because Futaba is very on edge about the situation.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a very realistic thing for people to feel. And then when it comes to, like, the story, too, of just, of how she became a shut-in to begin with, the fact that she lost her mother so young, and that she was fucking blamed for that death.
Yeah, when in reality, those people who blamed her killed her.
It is extremely sad to see what Futaba's had to go throughout her life.
And it makes it so much more impressive that she can just come out of her shell.
Yeah.
Obviously with the help of the Phantom Thieves, and it does take time. We'll talk about that more in our Confident.
Her awakening is really well done, as like that defiance, realizing that the version of her mother in her head isn't who her mother actually was.
Yeah.
it's so powerful. And of course, one thing that she does really well is I'm sorry, my dog is barking a fucking storm. It's pissing me off. So I'm gonna let her back inside.
Alright, cool. Hello viewers. It is the Plasma Energized. Comment down below how correct we are. If you think we're wrong, you're lying, or you're wrong. Futaba's great. I'll just keep waffling. Futaba's good. Actually, I'll wait for Aiden to come back. Why not?
Alright, I'm back.
Welcome back, my friend.
I feel like this was a BKC moment, honestly.
It's just me waffling.
Futaba's awakening is so well done, and then the fact that like she still has work to do after her palace is done too. The fact that she doesn't just become a complete background character afterward, which is unfortunately something that happens a lot in Persona 5.
Mm-hmm. And I think a very good example of how we can see that she's really broken out of her shell and she's really tried so hard to change herself for the better is during Shido's palace with the IT company president, I think it was.
Yeah, that scene
she
is great.
calls him a fucking pussy, and you're an absolute asshole. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, she has great moments in like the Confidant 2 calling Mishima an NPC.
Yeah, and she completely destroys him by like doing all that shit on like a laptop with like stickers on it while being like a fucking child. Yeah. It's really funny, and she really put him in his place. And even though she was very scared to do it, she still stuck to her guns. And it's a very good showcase of how she has definitely grown so much since her palace.
And what I like about Futaba too is that because Shido was responsible for killing her mother, she is very consistently relevant throughout the entire story, just like Joker and Haru are.
And I think another great thing is that they didn't do the thing where after her palace she's completely fine. They didn't act like everything was fine after that, because it wouldn't have been for no one. So we still get to see her slowly change for the better.
She's one of those characters where her development is very subtle throughout the main story. It's fun to do shit like that too because of how the Confidant social link system works.
But I think it's done very well in Futaba's case.
And then I guess the last thing to address is just like her base personality outside of like all the story stuff. Normally I find like the gamer girl trope to be fucking exhausting, just a pain in the ass. But Futaba's so fucking charming. Her dialogue is so fucking funny.
Calling Yusuke Inari when her name is Futaba is incredible.
It is. Oh, holy shit! I didn't realize that joke until. Jesus Christ! Oh fuck! Jesus Christ! I didn't realize the Futanari joke was right fucking there. God damn it! How am I so fucking retarded that I didn't get that? Like it's a fucking Futa joke. How could I not laugh?
Anyways,
I mean Futaba's a little like blunt and mean, and that gets justified a lot by by her backstory. But
she's also like 12.
I feel like that aspect of her personality, I never really interpret it as like a really bad thing. I think it's just so charming, likable, and funny to me. Yeah,
she's just herself. Really.
I would personally put Futaba in A tier.
Fair enough. Yeah, I agree on that.
Not quite S. I
wouldn't say S.
I wouldn't quite put her above.
I'd put above Makoto.
I would too. Not quite above Yusuke though.
Yeah.
And now we're moving on to Haru as a party member. Haru as a party member, like it. So you know how in competitive Pokemon there's only 4 move slots, and that makes Pokemon like Starmie a lot worse than they would be otherwise.
Almost no syndrome,
Because
yeah.
Starmie wants like 8 move slots.
Yeah.
Haru, she wants like 24.
Honestly, yeah, but I think some of her moves are really. Triple gun is really good.
Yeah.
Like her gun attacks do a surprising amount of damage.
Yeah.
And yeah, honestly, really good. Like but her only problem ends up being, obviously, she wants her 4 moves, like the solo attack, Psy, solo attack, gun, and then the multi attack, Psy and gun. But then she wants like Psy boost, Psy amp, gun boost, gun amp. But then she wants other moves as well. But you've already filled up your move slot. So you end up having to make a lot of sacrifices. So it ends up being very annoying. So like, for example, maybe you won't be able to take the Psy boost. You have to replace it with Psy amp and just go gun boost, gun amp because you want her to do gun damage. Something like that.
Yeah, because Haru's very customizable, but it comes at the cost of removing something else that she can do. She's a good psychic user, but you can also make her a good gun user. She could also be good with support with like the walls that she can set up, which, like, by the way, her third awakening ability is fucking broken.
I never actually used her wall abilities, I'm not gonna lie.
Her wall abilities, I think, are just kind of whatever, but the third awakening ability is insane.
What is it again? I always forget.
It takes up like 90 SP, but the fact that every single party member gets it.
Oh, is it the wall for physical everything apart from Almighty on all party members, right? Yeah.
Like that skill is fucking broken. It's worth giving her SP restoring items to spam it.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, so in Maruki's palace, she's broken. Everywhere else, she's fine. She's alright.
Yeah, she does her thing with... Because gun attacks are really good, I'm not gonna lie. Not a lot of things resist gun. So gun ends up doing a lot of damage. So she can end up... Because I think... The thing with Ryuji is, towards the late game, it seems like a lot of things are immune to physical attacks, but not as many to gun. You still have some, obviously, but you end up being... You can always rely on gun attacks. If you don't know what the opponent is weak to or what it's immune to, a lot of the time you can rely on just using a gun skill and doing good damage.
Yeah.
She does really well in Okuma Palace with triple gun because it just does all around damage to all of them. Because I think they're all just neutral to a gun. All the like robot things. But yeah, honestly, she's good, but she's not like incredible. I'd say tier.
Yeah, my personal opinion is B tier.
I think she's good. She's not like great, but she's good. She has her flaws, but she's good at what she does still.
She's like top of B tier, I feel.
Yeah.
Very, very useful party member, but not quite A tier. And then in terms of main story, I'm gonna have to separate Haru's Confidant and Haru's main story.
Yeah.
Confidant, really good. Main story, oh fuck, it hurts to talk about.
Yeah. I have to say, the one thing that really did piss me off was when her dad died. Like, she was upset. But I'm not gonna lie, big man, she should have been way more upset. That's her dad.
And like,
I think she seemed very like, oh no, my dad died.
She feels too forgiving toward the Phantom Thieves.
Yeah, like considering she just met them like a month ago, and her dad's dead now, because he went into some fantasy world.
She should have more doubts about if the Phantom Thieves are good or not.
Yeah, I think it's because they made her do a lot of stuff, and they tried to celebrate, and then her dad dies, and then like the thing that annoys me is, oh, she her dad dies, but then the main focus is, oh, there's a lot of people from the company pressuring her to do a lot of stuff. What about her dad who's dead?
Yeah.
I feel like that should be the main focus, but it ends up being kind of glossed over. And
I think the reason why her Confidant is like that too is because the Confidant goes in with the assumption that the main story already did a good job at establishing that. the fact that they already did a good job establishing her grief, when the main story does not a great job at that.
It doesn't.
And just in general, Haru, in the Okumura arc, Haru just does not really do anything. Her awakening's really good, but it would have been good if it was better if it was better built up to.
Yeah.
In terms,
I think a lot of the thing behind the awakening is like, oh, their persona's gonna be so sick, but we already saw it really. So,
and it's just like, and like the fact that Haru's taking along with Morgana as Morgana's doing all this fucking horrid dog shit. It makes the first impression of Haru not amazing.
Yeah,
again,
she ends up unfortunately being placed in the middle of arguably the worst part of the story.
Yeah, and like the one saving grace for her in the main story though is the fact that Shido's palace, Haru has like an actual reason to fucking hate Shido because Shido is responsible for her father's death.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
Not really. I've
got to add is that she's got a fucking massive forehead.
I am into big foreheads, so that is a plus for me.
Yeah, her forehead's wham. These trailers don't do it justice, I'm not gonna lie. Her forehead's way bigger in game.
Yeah, the fucking memes. the Haru forehead memes are so fucking funny. But yeah, I wanted to be a lot more generous toward Haru in the actual in the story ranking, and while I really do like her confidant in story, C tier honestly.
C tier, yeah.
I think she's actually the worst party member in terms of just main story stuff.
I agree. Yeah.
I wasn't expecting to be this harsh toward Haru, but yeah, she is not very well executed.
Yeah, and after Okumura, like, and I don't know, she's a bit. I think another problem is she's the last party member excluding Akechi and Kasumi, but we've seen Akechi and Kasumi before. They've had time to introduce themselves, become familiar with them. And like, but Haru ends up becoming a lot later in the game. So she doesn't have the time.
And like Haru does get, you see Haru in the Fireworks Festival. She gets some dialogue in Hawaii, but that doesn't really count as an introduction. We don't learn anything about Haru from those scenes. We learn a lot from Akechi and Kasumi from their introductions.
Yeah, we don't know enough about her, so she ends up not having enough time to develop, especially because during the time that she was meant to develop during Okumura's palace, Morgana also had to. So she just didn't. She just genuinely. I think if she just had more time in the story, then she could probably be higher.
Yeah,
but
if Morgana wasn't taking up her story, if she had more grief over her father, easy A tier, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
they can definitely make her into an A tier character. But
it's just they just botched the execution so much.
Yeah.
The only good thing I can say about the only great thing I can say about Haru in the main story is the fact that she does have a really good awakening, but even then it's one of the weaker awakenings, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Again, though she's a bad character, I really do love Haru. It's just in terms of main story stuff, she's easily the worst Phantom Thief.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think worse than Morgana was something that I would have said, but I mean after talking about it with you,
honestly, it's one of those things where after you talk about it, it's kind of true. She is kind of
because because the fact that Haru does have a genuinely good confidant, you kind of forget how poorly she was handled in the main story.
Yeah, because you think about the confidant really.
Because when I think about Haru, I don't think about the main story. I think about the confidant, which not a great thing for a main protagonist, one of the main characters.
Yeah.
And in terms of main story, not in terms of main story, the gameplay applications, Akechi's pretty good. Not amazing, not bad.
He's okay. I'm not gonna. He doesn't do much. Like, he does curse and bless damage, and I think he has a almighty damage.
He does.
I think.
Do we rank Robin Hood or Loki, by the way? Because both of them function decently differently.
Yeah. I think Loki's actually really good, but I think
Because Robin Hood's kind of mid, not gonna lie.
Robin Hood is mid. Robin Hood for me would be C tier, and then I think Loki would be top of B.
Yeah, I guess
We'll just rank Loki because I mean
because
we can talk about them both, but we'll just put him there.
Yeah, because the main thing that makes Loki good is the fact that Debilitate is a really strong attack.
Yes, Debilitate is really good. That I put him on my team for Moroki's Palace because Debilitate is really good.
Mm-hmm.
He also does decent damage.
Yeah, he's a jack of all traits with Debilitate. That is his niche.
Yeah, and so it doesn't make him A tier, but it makes him good.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I completely forgot about Makoto. One thing that makes her even better is she has the move that removes all the negative effects, Dekunda, which is really good. Anyway, that's just another thing. But Akechi, he's got the Debilitate hard carries him.
Yeah.
I honestly end up using him a lot as a Debilitate spammer, especially because if you look at Moroki's Palace, there are a lot of enemies in his boss fight. You have to hit a lot of enemies, and you constantly have to spam. So he ends up being good in that. But Robin Hood is mid because the thing is, he doesn't hit that hard, and then his attacks, I'm pretty sure when you get them, they're literally medium. Curse and bless, and I think only single target. I think his problem is he tries to do way too much. He tries to do bless, curse. I think he has almighty and physical, which it's just too much. He also like there's no reason really to use him in the palace because he doesn't hit hard enough because his moves are too weak, and there's nothing he's like really good at.
Yeah, in terms of like the story though, I think the fact that Robin Hood tries to do too much represents perfectly who Akechi is before he's able to embrace his true self with Loki.
Yeah.
So like that's some genuinely like good writing shit, but it doesn't mean that Robin Hood's good.
Right now, I don't give a shit. Having a good story don't make you like. My cargo says in the Pokédex that it's like 60,000 degrees. It's still shit.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
in terms of main story,
now onto the story.
I have no idea if you'll agree with me on this, but Akechi is among my favorites. I would personally go S tier.
I agree.
Alright, I'm glad we agree.
I mean, it's hard to disagree. I think most people will agree that he is an amazing character.
Yeah, like I know in vanilla Persona 5, people were a lot more kind of mixed on Akechi. You either loved him or you hated him. In Royal, though, they gave him the new confidant, and I mean, pretty much everyone loves Akechi now.
Thing is, he pissed me off, which made me love him, because I feel like he kind of does that.
Mm-hmm.
And considering he's like the biggest rival to the Phantom Thieves who always oppose them throughout the entire story, I feel like he's kind of meant to piss me off. And I think him pissing me off proves that he's good at his job. Mm-hmm. In that part of the game, he's good at his job. And I mean, I don't think we're not going to go in depth into what happens because I think everyone knows what happens in the story. Yeah. It's fucking amazing.
Just, it's fucking top tier writing. The fact that Akechi's desire for revenge just completely consumes everything that he wanted to do, to the point where his last moments end up with him getting taken advantage of just like he had been for the rest of the game. It's such a fucking perfect mirror for what the Phantom Thieves could have been like if they let their hatred consume them as opposed to their justice.
Yeah, it's a very possible ending for the Phantom Thieves if some things went wrong.
And like, and then just in general personality-wise, Akechi is so much fun. The fact that
He is.
And what? Here's the thing too. Another thing that Persona 5 Royal massively improves Akechi on: Maruki's Palace. Oh my fucking god! I love how how well Akechi is characterized in Maruki's Palace.
Can I just say, Akechi and Joker's Showtime is amazing.
Yeah, it's probably
it's my favorite Showtime.
It's my favorite
personally.
Showtime too. I love that Showtime.
The way that they're in sync, the choreography of that fucking Showtime is so good.
Yeah.
You've got Joker swinging around, Akechi just going batshit insane, and then like slicing the opponent through. Fucking amazing.
Like, I know I was talking about how Ryuji's my favorite, but Akechi might actually be my favorite Persona 5 character.
Fair enough. Do you want to put him above Ryuji?
Sure.
I agree with it.
Unsure about Joker, but
Akechi's amazing. I wouldn't put him above Joker, but he is a great character. I mean,
yeah, like, and like the fact too is just like the interactions he has too. My favorite line in this entire game has now turned into pancakes. I don't want to hear that term for a long time. Oh, I fucking love that line. It's so fucking funny.
One of the funniest things in Maruki's Palace is he doesn't try to hide that he's batshit insane. So some of the stuff that he says, like, "Oh, we should do this," and everyone's like, "Yo, bro, you good?"
Kasumi's like, has Akechi always been this ruthless kind of person? And then Akechi's like, well, we have a bigger goal to work toward, so if you're not okay hanging out with a ruthless sort of person, then... I fucking love that line. And then, like, of course, the biggest thing I feel like, in my opinion, that really elevates Akechi, he easily has the best English voice acting in this game.
Oh, yeah.
Far and away, easily the best English voice acting. Robbie Daymond, he is the one name outside of Xander Mobus that I've memorized, because I fucking love Akechi's voice acting.
Akechi's voice acting is amazing.
And, like, for most of the game, it's just kind of, like, standard, sort of, like the standard, like, pretty boy voice, that you hear.
Yeah.
But then you get in the boss fight, holy shit, I fucking love...
It just snaps. Literally the definition of something just snapped, something inside of me.
It's so impressive, his voice acting too. Just
you
feel the visceral levels of emotion in Akechi's voice, and it really helps you understand more about him. In Persona 5 Vanilla, Akechi is, I feel like, less layered than he is in Royal, and even then, I felt such a deep connection to him, purely because of just how well executed that boss fight is, and how good of a job Robbie Daymond did at portraying Akechi through his vocals.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the rank 8 confidant is really well voice acted too. The "I hate you" line is just so... Oh, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
And then, like, what I love so much about Maruki's Palace too is that it shows who Akechi could have been if he was allowed to stay alive, if he wasn't taken, if Shido didn't take advantage of him. He would be ruthless, he would be edgy, but he would have his heart in the right place. He is consistently the person throughout that arc, the main person throughout that arc who calls bullshit to Maruki's reality. He has a surprisingly strong moral foundation for being the guy who was literally doing the murders throughout the game.
Yeah.
And
he's like, "Hey, you can't decide how to control people's lives, but I can decide where they end. I'm right, you're wrong."
Yeah, exactly. He's like, "I don't fucking care if I die when we destroy your palace," because he cares about his principles that much. And
then he doesn't die.
Yeah. Holy shit, the reveal that he is still alive is one of the best executed and moments
I remember
of all
you
time.
messaged
Because
me
I wasn't spoiled on it. And
yeah.
I'm so glad I wasn't spoiled on it, because it is by far and
It's
away
amazing.
the most hype moment in the game. I'd say it's even more hype than the fact that Maruki's still alive.
Yeah, definitely. I remember you messaging like, "What the fuck? He's alive!"
Because I was still playing the end of the game when we were messaging each other. So
Yeah.
that what you saw was my first impression, first reaction to Akechi being alive. I was fucking dumbfounded, and yet I was so happy. Because Akechi is a character who deserves to live.
Yeah.
He may not be a good person. He was behind so many murders, and yet he is someone who deserves to be given a second chance because of the ways that he was abused by Shido.
Honestly, one thing that pissed me off is that because I'm a massive idiot, I forgot to max out his confidence on the first playthrough. So I didn't actually see that. Because the thing is, this guy pissed me off so much, I didn't want to hang out with him. I didn't want to listen to him being pretentious, telling me that I'm wrong. What?
I will be honest too, because like for the first part of Persona 5 before like Size Palace stuff, Akechi's fine. Nothing particularly interesting. But oh my god, the plot twists and all, and especially Maruki's Palace, carry Akechi so fucking hard.
Yeah.
Like,
he is a great character.
One of my favorite fictional characters of all time. I fucking love Akechi.
For sure.
Such a good character. And then next up, for the party member tier list, we got Kasumi. I mean, I guess she's Sumire for most of it, so we'll just go Sumire from now on.
Sumire, yeah. Now, I'm not gonna say this affects her ranking, and you should place her high because of this. But from what I can tell, apart from Futaba, I'm pretty sure Sumire is the only one who does something that no matter what, Joker cannot do. And that's buffing critical.
Yeah.
Because when Joker does it, it also boosts the opponent's chance of critical hits. But when Sumire does it, it only does it for your party members.
Yeah.
So technically, that is one thing that only Sumire can do that. No one else can.
Which that's huge, because Joker can do everything.
Joker can do everything, apart from not take up a party slot and critical hits like Sumire can.
Yeah. With in terms of like her actual abilities, she's a really solid physical attacker.
Yeah.
She's a very crit-heavy physical attacker, but I feel like the lack of like amazing multi-target options is what holds her back.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, she's got good moves. Like her Swords Dance is really good.
Swords Dance is such a good move.
No matter what game you go to, Swords Dance has a way of being good, I guess.
Honestly, though, I feel like I would personally say Sumire is like a high B tier as opposed to an A tier.
I agree with you on that because the critical hit is like a minor thing. Like, oh, that's pretty cool, but it's not really that important. So, yeah,
probably better than Haru though, honestly.
Yeah, she basically has. She only has one Orpho's attack, which is oh no, she has two. She has one physical and one bless, which is actually pretty good. And then she can restore full HP to one ally, which is all right.
Yeah.
But overall, I think she does some good stuff. She has Ali Dance, which is really, really good, reducing the opponent's accuracy, the passive that reduces your opponent's accuracy by half.
Yeah.
And then she has Apt People, which doubles your crit rate. And along with her attacks having such high crit chance, like her Masquerade being 30% crit chance doubled to 60, and being a double hit, it's really, really good.
Yeah.
So I think she has the potential to be really good, but at the end she ends up being like mid B, like better than Haru, but not as good as the others, because while she does have her advantages, she also dies very easily because her attacks take a lot of her HP, and she's, from what I can tell, she's not particularly bulky.
Yeah, like Ryuji
she has one.
Bulk, but...
Yeah, she has one nullification with Bless, a weakness in Curse, and then neutral to the rest. So she ends up being kind of hard to end up. She has a high chance of dying and not being as good. So she's a high risk, high reward character.
Yeah. I do end up using her a lot more in Maruki's Palace, though, mainly just because of the novelty.
That's fair enough. Yeah,
the only palace you can use her in, and I mean, as a character, she's so fucking good.
Which we'll get onto now.
Yeah, the twist, I did not see it coming. I really didn't.
Oh, I think it's impossible to see it coming.
Yeah,
it was
there's like no foreshadowing.
Honestly, I love Sumire way more than Kasumi, personally.
Yeah. Kasumi's kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie.
He's boring, and while obviously I didn't know that nothing was gonna happen, like she was Sumire and stuff, she did feel very fake.
I finished...
She's like the honest student thing, oh, this, that, and like, she's very, like, she helps people out. I think she felt very fake. She didn't feel very real, and that was one thing that, like, she was okay, her character was okay.
I finished Kasumi's Confidant. I think it was actually the first Confidant that I maxed in my Royal playthrough, and I finished it kind of underwhelmed. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It was fine. But then I played Sumire's Confidant. Holy shit, it's top tier fucking insanely good shit. And like, you're not gonna get the extent of you can't get everything about Sumire in the main story unless you play that Confidant. It's a very mandatory Confidant when it comes to understanding Sumire, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which goes to show it's an amazing Confidant.
Sumire is a great. I really love Sumire's character. She's very. She's top tier.
Yeah, and then like her personality too. Like
I love her personality, man.
Fucking making her blush was my favorite thing to do. It was so fucking funny.
Yeah.
She's like she's the only character in the game where I'm like, oh my god, she's fucking adorable. I love her.
She's so adorable.
I'm so glad that I waited to that I rejected every girl and waited to romance Sumire. It was so worth it.
I still haven't romanced her.
You gotta romance Sumire. You gotta.
I'll play the game for the fourth time just for that.
Yeah, the romance is totally worth it, and like, I really do feel like that with Royal, they, especially if the Showtime even, Joker.
Oh, the Showtime's great. The thing is, I never got to see the Showtime.
You never got to see the Showtime?
No, I did, just not often enough. I don't think I saw it in my first playthrough. I don't think I saw it.
Wow.
Like, I don't know why. I think that was the one annoying thing. And in my other playthroughs, I did see it, obviously, but I didn't see it that much. But it's a really good Showtime.
Yeah. And like the Showtime is basically just blaring at the player, going, guys, ship Joker X Sumire, guys.
And you know what? I ship it.
Yeah, I ship it too. I really do feel like that in terms of if there was a canon ship, it would have been like, I feel like it would have been like Makoto and Vanilla, but in Royal, it's gotta be Sumire.
For sure. Not even because she's the new character, it just works.
It just works fundamentally. You really do, like, you really feel like because Joker's the only person who's able to like really get and understand Sumire through all the really fucking horrible bullshit that she has to deal with in her life. And helping her get out of that shell, helping her no longer ignore her trauma, but actually properly move on from it. It's so well executed. He
doesn't have to rely on his pet changing reality.
Mm-hmm.
He could just do it.
And like, it's, I can't really justify S tier because she's so shoehorned in the game prior to Maruki. The Kasumi stuff just, it's not necessarily bad, but I feel like it doesn't really work super well. She has a few good scenes as Kasumi, but the fact that Kasumi and Sumire have to share screen time, I feel like, kind of hampers her a bit. However, as soon as the Sumire stuff starts, it's incredible. I'd say top of A tier personally, maybe S tier if you could talk me into it.
I think, I'm trying to think, because I think, here's the thing, I wish we could rate Kasumi and Sumire separately.
Yeah, I do too.
Sumire
S tier, Kasumi like
Sumire is bottom of S tier. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Arguably, so it's either bottom of S tier or above Ryuji, one of them two.
Yeah.
And then Kusumi's like C tier.
Yeah. Again, Kasumi's kind of boring as fuck.
But at the same time, she doesn't get too much screen time, so it's like. But either way, she's not my favorite character, so I'd put her in C tier.
Yeah.
But then Sumire goes S tier.
I think the best compromise would be like A tier. I put her above.
Yeah, top of A tier. That's fair enough.
Oh, so that's the party member tier list.
That is the party member tier list.
And so this is the story tier list. It's a very top heavy tier list because I mean this game in general.
It's Persona 5 Royal, man. Come on.
It's Persona 5 Royal, one of my personal favorite video game, Plasma's personal favorite video game. I'd even go as far as to say it's my favorite piece of fiction ever made.
I agree with that, to be honest. It's either first or second.
Yeah, like both of us fucking love this game.
Yeah.
And then this is the gameplay tier list, which I feel like that's gonna be the more controversial ranking, honestly.
For sure. I mean, I'm probably wrong about a shit ton of stuff, even though I've sunk way too many hours into this game.
I get that point too. Making videos on this channel, I've realized, wow, I'm kind of a dumbass, aren't I?
Because for me, I've put in, I think it's like 100. It's probably like 200 hours at this point into this fucking game. I hope I'm not too wrong. If I am, it's not good.
Yeah, so I guess that's the end of the tier list. And we'll see you guys another time.
Cringe outro, oi!
Oh yeah, the cringe outro. I haven't been doing the cringe outros, but I don't know I gotta do them with you all.
Yeah, but when you're with me, you have to do it.
Alright, gamers! Let's hope you're able to be gay with Plasma and I next time for a gaming video about fucking gamers! With gaming's gay! I'm funny, guys.
Homosexuality.
Alright, see you guys later.